What's up guys, Antoine here, and as you probably already know, real estate prices are going crazy. Redfin recently reported that real estate prices have hit record highs while supplies have hit record lows. And this comes at a time when more than 45 million millennials are hitting the prime first-time home buying ages this year. 31% of the properties that went under contract were from an offer that was submitted in just 1 week of listing. So what does this all mean? This means that even though the real estate market may be going crazy, there still are some great markets that are a little bit below the radar that you can still find some great deals. So if you're a first-time home buyer or a real estate investor looking for your first house or your 100th house, here are the 10 best cities to buy property in America in 2022. Even though the real estate market is going crazy right now and it may seem like there's no deals to come by, I assure you that my team and I are still buying 10 to 30 houses every single month across America, and some of those places that we're buying is in this list that I'm going to tell you about now. So please like and subscribe so I can share with you guys where and how to buy rental properties across the country. So unlike a lot of other real estate lists online, I prefer to invest in cities that are a little bit under the radar. What I mean by that is I want to invest in a city that has not blown up yet. I want to invest in Austin, Texas 10 years ago. I want to invest in Cleveland 5 years ago. I want to find these markets that have not blown up yet, that haven't seen huge exponential growth, so that I can buy them early and cheap and watch that growth happen over the next 5 to 10 years. Now, obviously, when you're looking for cities and you're looking for cities that may blow up, there's certain things that you have to look for, whereas a city that already blew up, you can already see the population has grown, the jobs have grown, the companies are already starting to move in, but how do you find those cities before all that happens? So in this list, you're going to have cities that are still cash flow positive with room for appreciation in the next 5 to 10 years. Number 10 on this list is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a great city with tons of tech companies. Google and Apple both have corporate offices in Pittsburgh. And this is pretty rare for Apple because Apple only has corporate offices in Seattle, Austin, Texas, and California. So for them to have a corporate office in Pittsburgh is very rare. The median list price of a single family home in Pittsburgh is $225,000, which means that this market is still relatively affordable compared to other markets across the country. So if you're looking for cash flowing rental properties, this could be a great city to invest in because you have the tech companies, but the prices are still relatively affordable. According to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, home values in Pittsburgh have increased by 14.5% in the last year. So let's say you bought a house in Pittsburgh a year ago for $100,000 and you put $20,000 down. You would have had an extra $14,000 in your pocket if you had held that home for the entire year. So if you put $20,000 down, you would have almost doubled your money. Something else that's super interesting about Pittsburgh is that for the first time in 60 years, the population has started to increase. Over the last 60 years, Pittsburgh has been losing population, but for the first time, it's now starting to go up. And this is what I mean by buying at the bottom of the market. So now is a great time to buy in Pittsburgh before the population continues to go up and house values continue to rise. Allegheny County added more than 27,000 residents last year. The median rent in Pittsburgh, it's $1,650 per month for a 3-bedroom home. So this is one of the few cities in America where you can buy houses that cash flow positively, meet the 1% rule, and also have room for appreciation. So I think Pittsburgh is a great place to invest due to the tech companies being there, the population starting to increase. So now is a great time to buy, but the window is shortening because the population is now starting to increase and prices will continue to rise. Number 9, Louisville. Louisville, Kentucky has one of the lowest property taxes in the entire country. And I still think you can find great deals at cash flow, and I think there also is some room for appreciation. Louisville has also been rated by Wallet Hub as one of the best places for renters to live due to quality of life and also affordability. And according to Realtor.com, the market is primed to outperform. Home prices are expected to rise by 4.5%, while sales volume is expected to grow by 7.3%. Home values in Louisville grew 12.1% over the last year, which is fantastic because just like Pittsburgh, if you bought a house in Louisville, you would have almost doubled your money if you bought a house about a year ago. And even better for investors in Louisville, rents have increased by 13% year over year. The median price of a single family home in Louisville, Kentucky is $220,000 according to Realtor.com. And the average Jefferson County property tax rate is 0.93%, which is extremely low. So some of the properties that we're currently doing in Louisville, Kentucky, the annual property taxes is $300 to $400 every single year. Whereas that same property in Cleveland, Ohio or Detroit, Michigan could be $2,000 to $3,000 a year. So in the end, Louisville, Kentucky is a great place to invest with a median home price of $220,000, has great rent to value ratios, has great food, there's a great companies downtown, and the property tax rate is really low, which means you could even pay more for a property because the taxes are super low and you'll have great cash flow. Number 8, Kansas City, Missouri. So over the last couple of years, Kansas City has really appreciated tremendously. You used to be able to buy houses here for less than $150,000, but over the last couple of years, house prices have really gone up. Now, if you're looking for homes below $150,000, there are only a few zip codes left. But if you're open to buying houses for $200,000 or $250,000 and taking a little bit low cash flow, you can still find some great deals in Kansas City. The average sales price is up 10.2% in Kansas City over the last 12 months, bringing the average sales price of a property up to $310,000, which, as you can tell, is higher than the other places that I've mentioned, and why at the beginning I shared with you guys that this place is a little bit more expensive. And one of the reasons for these extremely high prices is due to the lack of supply. The supply is down 24.2% year over year in Kansas City. The cumulative appreciation rate in Kansas City over the last 10 years has been 75%, which ranks in the top 20% nationwide, according to Neighborhood Scout data. Kansas City is a market that is hard to find deals, but if you can find a deal and find a deal that cash flows, it's a very stable, long-term market. Average rents are $1,100 a month for a 2-bedroom. The economy in Kansas City is very diverse, and there are a ton of different businesses located in Kansas City. Number 7 is probably a city you've never heard of, Gary, Indiana. So you're in the Chicago MSA, but you have Indiana taxes, which is why Gary, Indiana is on this list. I think it's a great place to invest right now. The prices in Gary, Indiana are up 10% year over year. The demand for all these homes in Gary, Indiana is due to the fact that many people are leaving Chicago and Illinois taxes, and they want to move to Indiana due to the lower property taxes. So just to support this, homes in Gary, Indiana have increased over 100% in the last 5 years. The median rent in Gary, Indiana is $1,000 a month for a 3-bedroom single-family home, while the median listing price of homes in Gary, Indiana is right around $90,000. So due to the fact that you can still buy houses in Gary, Indiana for $90,000, they'll rent out on average for $1,000 a month, which means that you can go buy any house in Gary, Indiana and beat the 1% rule. Plus, you also have extremely low property taxes because you are in Indiana instead of being in Illinois. And you are also in the Chicago MSA, so you're close to downtown Chicago, you have access to the airports and all that other stuff that Chicago has to offer. One thing to note about the South Side Chicago and Gary, Indiana is the crime. So if you are thinking about investing in northwestern Indiana, make sure to look at the crime and make sure you have a property management company that is willing and able to manage homes in this neighborhood. Number 6 is Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham is a great little city with a beautiful and rich history. The University of Alabama is a huge hub for Birmingham. So right in the downtown core of Birmingham, you have the University of Alabama, which is an awesome, amazing campus. I went there a couple years ago, drove around, toured the neighborhoods, and also toured the university. Birmingham is the second most popular market for investors, ahead of traditional hotspots like Tampa, Las Vegas, and Phoenix, according to roofstock.com. The cost of living in Birmingham, Alabama is 2% below the national average. So everything, including the cost of living, is a little bit cheaper in Birmingham, Alabama. The median listing price of a home in Birmingham, Alabama is $171,000, according to realtor.com. And the median rent for a 3-bedroom single-family home in Birmingham is $1,150. So even though Birmingham is a little bit smaller of a market and the cash flow may not be as great as Gary, Indiana, I still really do like the city. I think you can find some great properties that cash flow nicely, and I think there is still a ton of room for appreciation. And it also happens to be a nice place to live with a lower cost of living. Number 5, Cincinnati, Ohio. So Cincinnati, Ohio is a market that I am currently investing in, and I really like the city. You can still find some great cash flow and great appreciation here. Zillow predicts that homes will increase in value by 12.1% in the next 12 months. And just in the last year, Cincinnati home values have gone up 19.8%. So even though the market in Cincinnati, Ohio is very hot, as you can see from the 20% appreciation, I think that there still is some room to grow in Cincinnati, Ohio. It is one of the top markets to invest in real estate in Ohio. We're currently investing in Cleveland, Cincinnati, and looking into Dayton, Ohio as well. Cincinnati has been historically hard to find deals, but I think if you can find some great deals that cash flow nicely, there still is some more room for appreciation. Cincinnati is the largest city in Ohio. There are a ton of jobs and companies moving to Cincinnati, Ohio as well, and the workforce by 2028 is expected to grow by 6%. Population in Cincinnati, Ohio is growing by 1.4% year over year. And so a growing population like this in Cincinnati, Ohio is a great sign. The median rent in Cincinnati is $1,480 per month for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home. And the median home price by Zillow is $215,000. So while it still may be a little bit harder to find great cash flowing properties in Cincinnati, when you do find one, you know it is a great deal. With a growing population and tons of jobs moving to the market, I think it's going to be a great market to invest and hold for the long run. Number 4, Memphis, Tennessee. According to Realtor.com, Memphis is rated as the #1 real estate market where first-time homebuyers are battling investors for the best homes. So Memphis is actually the first market that I started investing in. Back in 2017, I was doing a lot of research online and I came across Memphis, Tennessee as a great place to invest. From there, I ended up buying a house close to the airport, which is the second largest cargo airport in the world. Memphis is also home to FedEx headquarters and Nike distribution facilities, and they have multiple Amazon warehouses. Memphis International Airport is the second largest cargo airport in the world. So buying houses close to the airport is a great idea because there's tons of jobs nearby. So Memphis back in 2017 and 2018 used to be a great place to buy houses below $100,000, but over the last couple of years, house prices have gone up and so have rents. But I still think you can buy some great properties with great cash flow. Memphis has also had, over the last couple of years, tons of new hotels and convention centers being built. So I believe in the next 5 to 10 years, Memphis may become a hub for conventions. They built a couple huge convention centers downtown, and they also created some small boutique hotels that were very, very high end in Midtown Memphis. And over the last 5 years, home values in Memphis have increased by 83.3%. The average home price in Memphis, Tennessee is $134,000, while the median rent for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home in Memphis is $1,500, which means that overall, just looking at the median home price and median rents, Memphis, Tennessee beats the 1% rule. Over the last 3 years, homes in Memphis, Tennessee in terms of rent have increased by over 60%. Additionally, rents in Memphis, Tennessee have increased by 39% year over year. So even though the Memphis, Tennessee market in terms of rent and property value has been skyrocketing, I still think that there are great deals to be found. My team and I are still buying 5 to 10 houses a month, every single month in Memphis, Tennessee, and my brother even moved there to begin managing our construction projects on the ground. Number 3, St. Louis, Missouri. So back in 2018, I started investing in St. Louis, and I absolutely love this market. So there's many reasons why I love St. Louis and why I love investing there. First of all, you have St. Louis University, which is pretty close to downtown. They have a huge grand campus, and they keep everything super clean. Additionally, the downtown has great restaurants, great shops, and it is also extremely clean as well. They also have something called the St. Louis Arch, which you can actually take an elevator up to and get a full 360 view of the entire city. St. Louis is also home to Washington University of St. Louis, which is a top 10 graduate school for doctors and nurses. When investing in the city, there's tons of different municipalities is what they're called when investing in St. Louis. So the city is very, very expansive. The downtown or the city of St. Louis is actually relatively small. There are tons and tons of suburbs in St. Louis. So cash flow is relatively easy to come by in St. Louis. And you can pick out some certain pockets like on the south side of St. Louis that are prime for appreciation. Something to note here when investing in St. Louis is that due to all these municipalities, every single house that you buy, if it's in a different municipality, you may have to abide by those rules of that municipality. So make sure when you're calling property management companies in this market that they manage properties across the entire county of St. Louis. Because if they don't know how to manage the municipalities or deal with their laws and regulations, you could be shit out of luck. A shortage of homes to buy in St. Louis is one of the reasons why it ranks in one of the best places to buy for cash flow. And more than half of the houses in St. Louis are occupied by renters. The average home price in St. Louis is $222,000 according to Zillow. The median rent in St. Louis is $1,475 per month for a 3-bedroom home. Home values in St. Louis have increased by 14.2% year over year. Rents for a 3-bedroom home in St. Louis have increased by more than 28%. St. Louis is a place that I'm currently investing in, and I see myself investing there for the next 3 to 5 years. There are tons of amazing suburban single-family houses to buy in St. Louis that produce amazing cash flow and appreciation. Another unique thing about St. Louis is it has a ton of duplexes and fourplexes. So if you're looking to buy stuff other than single-family homes, St. Louis could be the place for you. Number 2, Detroit, Michigan. So I've been investing in buying single-family homes in Detroit, Michigan for the last 12 months. And I think that Detroit, Michigan is on the cusp of a revolution. I think that since the city went bankrupt, there's been a ton of vacant and dilapidated neighborhoods that need revival. And so a lot of people have been moving into Detroit, Michigan. They can't afford where they currently live, moving in there, opening up businesses, starting companies, because it is so affordable. So many people associate Detroit, Michigan with high crime. And while I agree with you, there are tons of suburbs outside of Detroit like East Point and Ferndale that are great for cash flow and appreciation that have relatively no crime. Detroit is probably one of the best places to buy properties for high cash flow right now. In terms of appreciation, it might take 10, 20, 30 years for the appreciation to kick in, But if you're looking for strictly cash flow, Detroit is a place for you. So over the last 5 to 10 years, a lot of zip codes in Detroit were extremely vacant and dilapidated. Many investors have come in and started building new homes, renovating these properties, and gentrifying these areas. So even though many people have started to invest in Detroit already, there still is a ton of room for growth. Prices in Detroit, Michigan for single-family homes are still crazy low. The median home price in Detroit, Michigan is still well below $100,000, and I see that going up over the next couple of years. The median listing price for a single-family home in Detroit is $75,000. Home values in Detroit have also increased by 37.6% over the last year. Over the last 5 years, home values in Detroit have increased by over 150%, which is just ridiculous, which means that if you bought houses for $20,000 or $30,000, those homes would be worth a lot of money. The median rent for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home is $1,000. So currently in Detroit, millennials and Gen Z make up 38% of the population in Detroit. I think this is due to the fact that Detroit has super low cost of living. So a lot of these millennials that couldn't afford to live in San Francisco or LA decided to move to Detroit and start up a coffee shop because they had extremely low cost of living and they can go and do the kind of business that they wanted to do that they couldn't afford to do in Los Angeles, San Francisco, or New York City. If you're looking for a market that is relatively easy to get into, I would highly recommend Detroit. If you just pull up Zillow and Redfin and go look for 3-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family homes in Detroit that cash flow positively, Detroit is going to be your spot. The reason why is because when you set up these filters and set up these searches, you'll find over 1,000 options, 1,000 homes for sale currently as of today in Detroit. So if you're looking for a place to live or a place to invest and you want to get into a deal relatively quickly, Detroit is going to be the place to go to due to the high amount of inventory. Number 1, Cleveland, Ohio. So Cleveland, Ohio is the city where I'm currently buying the most amount of homes every single month. My team and I are currently purchasing 10 to 20 houses every single month in Cleveland, Ohio and its suburbs. Cleveland, Ohio is home to 3 major sports teams: Cleveland Indians, the Cavs, and the Browns. Cleveland is also home to 10 S&P 500 company headquarters. The population of Cleveland, Ohio has been going down for the last 30 to 40 years. This is due to the steel boom back in the 1960s and 1970s that happened in Cleveland, Ohio, where a lot of the older population, since the steel boom has left, a lot of this population has left Cleveland, Ohio. But there's a certain demographic that is moving into Cleveland, Ohio, and that is the young professional. Cleveland Clinic headquarters is also based out of Cleveland, Ohio, and Cleveland Clinic is rated the 2nd best hospital in the US. They have a ton of chains, not just in Cleveland, Ohio, but also across the entire East Coast. For all these reasons, Cleveland, Ohio is ranked as the number 1 city in America to buy a home, based on relative prices compared to regional and national averages and prospects for further appreciation. 50% of the population in Cleveland, Ohio is renters, which makes it the perfect place to own a rental property. One of the reasons that homes are selling so quickly in Cleveland, Ohio is due to the relatively low prices. The median home price in Cleveland, Ohio is right around $115,000. But over the last year, home prices in Cleveland, Ohio have gone up by 23.7%, and home prices over the last 5 years have increased by nearly 115%. Rents are also still relatively affordable in Cleveland, Ohio. Over 50% of the housing stock currently rents for below $1,800 a month. And the median rent in Cleveland, Ohio is $1,050 per month for a 3-bedroom single-family home. So what does it all mean, boss? One of the reasons why I love Cleveland so much is because I think that it's one of the few places in America where you can find amazing B-class suburbs with relatively no crime for below $120,000. We invest in a ton of these neighborhoods in Cleveland, Ohio, and we absolutely love them. Because I think that in Cleveland, Ohio, when you can buy a house for $120,000 in a suburb like Maple Heights or Garfield Heights, that same house in Memphis, Tennessee would sell for like $180,000 to $200,000. So even though Cleveland, Ohio prices have gone up over the last 5 years, I still think there is a ton of room for appreciation. One thing to note about Cleveland is that if you buy properties in the suburbs, they have what are called point of sale inspections. What these inspections are, it means that every single time you buy or sell a property in one of these suburbs, the city will come and do an inspection to make sure the property is up to code before they allow you to sell or buy that property. So now that we've gone over the top 10 cities to buy a home in 2022, I hope you guys take this information and go to some of these cities. So while there are probably hundreds of cities to invest in across America, this is just a small list of my top 10 cities to invest in. So personally, the top 2 cities that I'm focusing on are Detroit and Cleveland, Ohio. I think Detroit is a great time to get in because the prices are relatively low, and I think they're going to go up over the next 5 to 10 years. but it's more of a long-term hold play. Cleveland, on the other hand, much more stable, and you can buy houses in great neighborhoods in the suburbs. So I think that mixing my portfolio personally with Detroit and Cleveland, Ohio properties is going to be a great strategy for the next couple of years. So don't listen to anybody that's telling you this is not the right time to buy. I'm still buying 10 to 30 houses every single month in all of these cities on this list. You just have to find the right market for you that fits within your budget. Please make sure to like and subscribe, because I'm going to be sharing with you guys why 2022 is a great time to invest in real estate. Thank you guys, and see you soon.